This is a CZ52. This is a 9mm factory-made CZ52 that was made in 1953, and it was made for export from Czechoslovakia. This is not a good gun, but I really like this gun for a couple of reasons. It's a neat operating system, it's got cool history, it's got some incredibly good lines, and like aesthetically this thing is a very like retro futuristic, right? But I can objectively say that there are plenty of bad things about this gun. So, why am I starting with that? Well, in a previous video that I did, I talked about this CZ75 here, and this gun I've shot for about 15 years. I like these guns. However, in that video, I had a couple of criticisms of them, and I got a lot of really fun comments kind of later on about how I didn't know what I was talking about and how this gun is amazing, etc., etc. It just must be me, right? So I started thinking about those comments and thinking, well, like, how are you judging a pistol, right? And then I thought broader. So how you judge a pistol and why you would judge a pistol given those criteria, it's actually kind of an interesting topic because pistols, and this is going to upset some people, don't matter. It is a balmy 25 degrees out, and we are going to do a little bit of shooting with a couple of pistols that I've been meaning to take out. Some Olympic Bullseye, some Tokarev that I built. We have a special CZ. We have this like 2011 from Turkey that I had to drift the sights on because the Turkey does not know how to do that. We have my most hated pistol, if you're to believe the comments, and my little carry piece. So, target, about 25 yards. Let's see what we can do. So when I say pistols don't really matter, there's two basic places where pistols are primarily used, okay? Because a pistol is tiny, relatively speaking. It's concealable. It's got short range. It's actually hard to use. They're really weak, and they're kind of only used in a defensive situation. In the civilian world, this is very important, right? Pistols are definitely something that I am absolutely for most people learning how to use and carry, etc. There's also competition, which is important, but it's much smaller slice of like why people actually buy pistols. And I love competition. I do it all the time with all sorts of different pistols, and I like shooting, for accuracy and everything. But again, not the primary use of the pistol. Primary use of pistol is to actually defend yourself. I didn't feel good about that, but we're just warming up. I was drawing them all to the right a little bit, so it did okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna count that and that. That's a 95. So 95, not bad. It's only downhill from there. Let's start off with the elephant in the room. Obviously, you should probably pick something that's going to work. However, what does it have to do to actually work? You need to be able to get through about a magazine. There are countless examples of self-defense situations that where a pistol is brought out and presented and then nothing happens because there are bad people in this world and you should be able to protect yourself from them. However, when someone uses a gun in self-defense, you're only firing a handful of rounds, generally speaking. There are very, very rare instances where you're even going to go through an entire magazine, generally speaking. Like a full 16-round magazine like this, you probably aren't going to go through. Now, do I think that you should be limited? No, absolutely not. Carry as many rounds as you need. In fact, carry a spare magazine. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you've got a gun that you can carry and you're comfortable with and it will get through a magazine, there's your defensive piece. So we're going to go from probably the best pistol today, right? Good target pistol, to maybe the worst. I can't shoot this thing very well, and I'm not sure actually where it shoots at 25, so we're going to give it a go. This is a CZ52 factory 9mm. I don't know if you can see that, but this is made from the factory in 1953 in 9mm for export. I love this pistol. I just wish I could shoot it better. Let's see if that actually hit anything. 1. Okay, so that's the hold. I've got that. I think it's a combat hold. Got one here. This pistol is so hard to shoot. I'm gonna try to actually step up a little bit and see what this does at like 10 yards. So as much as I love this pistol and I really like it, that's about what I could do at 10 yards, like 5 shots. So the trigger is atrocious. There's like 3 different brakes on it. The sights are not amazing. I don't know if you can see that, but they're very of the time. This is a 1950s pistol, like early 50s. 10 yards is about all I can really do. I have to get more practice with this thing. I might try it again at 25 just to see, but it's very difficult to shoot. But I love it. It looks so cool. Know that I really enjoy pistols. That's why I own so many. And if I have a critique of a gun, it doesn't mean that I don't like the gun. In fact, I think having a critique is good. So let's look at a couple of these comments here. You should give that gun away. That one made me laugh. I was like, oh man, you really didn't like that I said anything bad about it at all. Someone says, the best, sorry. Here's one. How is it flawed just because you replaced 2 parts unnecessarily and a 10-cent trigger spring broke after 10,000 rounds? Okay, well, I replaced those parts because they fail often, and one of them did fail. That's why I replaced it. And I bet you were also doing something dumb that caused it. I was shooting the gun, so that's probably pretty dumb. They also have newer versions that have simpler trigger mechanism if that one's too complicated for you. That doesn't fix the actual trigger spring issue. That just changes how the sear is, and the Omega sear isn't that great either. He puts a stronger recoil spring in for no reason, then complains he can't pull the slide back. LOL. Maybe you should just stick to Glocks. The increased recoil spring is actually a pretty common thing to do, and it actually helps with the recoil and gets me back on target pretty quick. The follow-up to this was, dude, all these people who think they know how to put together gun better, then the manufacturer trips me out. LOL. If you complain about CZ75, you would cuss a virgin bride. Okay. So if you know anything about these pistols, Tanfo actually basically ships these guns with all the new fixes in them, and also the SP01 and better versions of this pistol ship with the things that I went through in the video. So obviously it's not just me thinking that. That's the factory. Here's a good one. He says 50,000 rounds through it. I didn't. I said 15,000. Did you see how filthy and dirty the gun was? He had carbon and oil crap on his fingers from handling the barrel. Yes, I shoot and lube my guns. You couldn't see the springs or much else of the parts he was complaining about for the dirt and gunk all over them. And this guy complains about the gun? Try cleaning it every now and again. No gun requires no maintenance. That's true. No gun does require no maintenance. And this thing gets cleaned and lubed after pretty much every single competition. And I still don't have malfunctions with it. But I'm saying that's what I said in my video is that there are parts that are weaknesses and you should identify them and fix them if you want. Great pistol. Silly man. Don't waste your time on this channel. Okay. Thanks, I guess. That one got 7 little thumbs up, though. So people like that comment. That's a fun one. Here's one. You got it all wrong. I mean, I've shot it for 15 years. I probably haven't got everything wrong. I guess it didn't cross this fella's mind that the CZ75 replicated the Browning High Power Mark I. I mean, they took a lot of cues from it, but if you take the 2 guns apart, which I have, they're not exactly the same on the inside. But yeah, I mean, it's similar. They're both tilting barrel, like kind of Browning operated handguns, but you know, not totally the same. 1975 shoe. Okay, such an old timer there, boy. Shoe. What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? But nobody has trouble carrying the truly awful 1911. I mean, I like the 1911. I think it's cool. You can get them that run really well. It's just an old design. It's literally over 100 years old. Like, we have better designs now. The CZ is still superior to anything that Glock has yet made. Sorry. I mean, okay, yeah, that's an opinion. I think they're both fine guns. It just depends on your use case. So generally with rifles, the debate's kind of settled, right? We know objectively that like one platform is probably going to be better for the other. But with pistols, it is so much more fractured than that, right? It goes far beyond the 1911. It goes so much farther beyond like 1911 versus Glock. It goes from, well, I think CZ is really good, or I think a Walther is really good, or like I'm poor and I have a Canic, or you've got weirdos with like military surplus guns going, this is just as good, right? And everyone's kind of right. And they're also kind of wrong. Because when it comes to civilian use, both the Roland Special and the J-frame Smith & Wesson revolver were both at the same time considered perfectly adequate for self-defense. Okay? One, a Gucci'd up Glock 19 with a light and an optic and all that stuff and just drips with Instagram clout. That was considered a good carry option, but also the 5-shot Smith & Wesson J-frame. Next up, we have 2011 from Turkey. I had to adjust the sights on this thing because it was shooting to the left. So let's see if it works. Okay, so pretty mild recoiling. I like the gun a lot. It did choke a little bit right there, but it's a 1911. Still polishing the feed ramp, so if this was the previous time I had it out, it would be like all the way over here off the paper with the center hold. So sights are now on. I like that. So that's again from the 9. I had one outside the 9 ring. Well, 2 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no, I apologize. I just can't count. It is 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's like a 91. That ain't bad. So what about military use? A lot of people really base a lot of their decisions when it comes to what gun to buy based on like what military and police do, and that makes a lot of sense. You're removing this like thought process from yourself. You don't have to do all of the research. You're just going to pick whatever like the military picks because that kind of makes sense. And to a degree, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. However, pistols in military use kind of worthless. Okay? Now, we as a country, we had the 1911 and we used it forever. Okay, from like 1911 up into the 2010s, we used this pistol. Well, not this one, but a 1911. We were able to use it for that long, not because it was so amazing, but because pistols didn't matter. If you're on a team of people that actually kicks down doors for a living, you're probably not going to be carrying a pistol when you could be carrying that extra magazine for your rifle for the same weight. In the same time, pistols have always been relegated to kind of backline troops. You gave a pistol not to the frontline guys who are storming the beaches, but you gave it to the cook. You gave it to the driver. And as soon as we could, we ditched that design for the M1 carbine or the grease gun or whatever. Next, we have my CZ75. Unlike the 2011, no jams. Let's see how it did. That's about what I expected. I know this pistol shoots slightly to the right. And since the 1911 or the 2011 is a combat hold, and that pistol's a center hold, I should have probably shifted my hold down a little bit. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, oh, ignore this one. This is from the CZ52. But this is all the CZ75. Yeah, I mean, I think it scored like the same. Let's see here. Those are 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, like, depending on how you score it, 90 or an 89. So, like, really similar. If I adjust the sights a little bit, I could beat it down, but it's never bothered me for how I've shot it. I mean, in competition, like, this is fine. So, again, 25 yards, not bad. Pretty much most militaries, for the longest time, used a 32 ACP blowback sort of kind of pistol for their officers' carry. If you're upset that they picked the 320 as their new U.S. military like sidearm, it doesn't matter because they're not really going to be used in like combat. I'm just glad that we picked something somewhat American, even though it kind of blows up every once in a while. And there are issues with the 320 design and manufacture. Trust me, like that's how it is. But you can't get too mad. Be like, I can't believe they use that. It's going to get people killed. I mean, it'll probably blow up in some people's hands, but it's very likely to actually get someone killed. I don't like that last one. All right. 43X. I really like this pistol. It's like the most sensible pistol I own. But does it make for a good target pistol? Well, all 10 on target. I've got 2 in the X ring, 4 in the 10 ring, couple in the 9. So if we count this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll call that a 3. So 11, that's an 89. So that's an 89 out of 100 with this pistol. Notice I wasn't shooting low into the left. If you have issues with the Glocks, it's probably not the pistol because this is a stock pistol. It is the Shorty 43X. I mean, the sights are stock. That's what I'm working with. So it'll do the job just fine. Next, we have my Tokarev. Well, this is one of my Tokarevs. This is a 9x19 chamber Tokarev with custom-made grips. It is a Chinese parts kit on a Romanian frame, and it actually has a Yugoslavian recoil assembly, which is kind of cool. The only Tokarev that I know, Romanian at least, that has that combination because I built it myself. I like this little pistol, but let's see what it does at 25. I'm less confident with this pistol because I've not really shot it all that much. So I was also using the 22 target. So it looks like, yeah, I was probably a little bit off. The hold on this one appears to be a 6 o'clock, and I was holding center, which is why they're off. However, if I got more practice and brought it down with a 6 o'clock hold, I can probably get pretty close, at least get them all in the 8 ring. So that's not bad. Better than the CZ52, that's for sure. So while the type of shooting that I was doing that day was primarily, bullseye focus, where I was at 25 yards shooting at a standard B8 size target, and obviously something like this is going to do better than the other pistols, and it did. So that's not really the point. A pistol, such as maybe the CZ75, might not do as well at that, but it could be really good at, action shooting like IPSC, USPSA, two gun, etc. If you're trying to make small groups on paper and really hone in your actual core skills when it comes to actually shooting a pistol, a gun, not maybe just like this, but a 22 target pistol might be great. You have your little carry Glock, which honestly, this thing is way better to carry than something like this. Every pistol kind of has its place. You've got the Taurus Judge, which is really good at stealing baby boomer social security checks. You have the Springfield XD, which is really good at getting stolen out of a Dodge 1500. And the SIG 320 makes for a fantastic grenade. Now, we can obviously crack jokes about different manufacturers and everything, and it's all fun and games, right? But what I'm trying to say is, they all do roughly the same thing for their intended purposes for the average user. And to kind of drive that home about how, like, the real core use case for pistols hasn't changed in a very long time, look at the pistol that got more people excited at SHOT Show this year than almost anything else, which was the clip-fed Kel-Tec 5.7. And last but certainly not least, I have my 10mm, the 6-inch long slide 2011 that I built from that TSUS. We are going to be shooting some national match ammunition, so this stuff should be fairly accurate out of this gun. So let's see how that did. Okay, pretty good. The first couple shots I think were these two, until I realized that my semi 6 o'clock hold was actually a full-on 6 o'clock hold. So once I cleaned up the 6 o'clock hold, that was me. I pulled that 100%. But yeah, that's really good. So if we count that up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's like a 93. So that ain't bad. So pistol shooting is pretty subjective. All these pistols did okay, well, except for this one. The Tokarev did fine if I could actually figure out the hold on it. CZ did great because I'm very used to it. This pistol, which realistically I shoot the least, I did really well with. You know why? Because it's a modern pistol. Modern manufacturing is amazing. You have my thrown together 2011 thing. It did great. But again, bullseye pistol, unsurprisingly, did the best. That's been my incredibly cold range session with 6 of my pistols, technically 7 if you count the 9mm slide. And the most important thing that I've learned, whatever pistol that you really like, you should pick that pistol and then be a dick about it on the internet. I still think this is the coolest. Sorry. Like, as far as cool factor, this one beats all of these. I'm sorry. Look at it. It's like, it's so retro futuristic and wonderful. Like, aesthetically, it's just great. Is it a good pistol? Nah, no. They kind of break themselves, but it's cool looking. Look at that Bakelite. That's so neat. Anyway, this is about to turn into a CZ52 appreciation post. So after going through all of this and explaining, there are so many different factors that we can use to compare pistols, right? Capacity, weight, sights, how easy it is to carry, how easy it is to shoot, how rugged it is, how maintenance friendly it is, how inexpensive it is or easy to manufacture. What about just the overall reliability of a pistol? So where does that leave us with the CZ52? The CZ52 is bad at all of those things. Okay, capacity's not great. Sights aren't great. The ergonomics aren't great. The manual of arms is a little bit weird. It's not very easy to carry. It's a bit large. It was very expensive to manufacture. They only made these things for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it was kind of a dead end. And in fact, no one has bothered to use this operating system since. I really enjoy it, not because it's the best pistol out there. I enjoy it also a little bit because it's not the best. I like the lines of it. I like the history. I like the operating system. It's just a cool pistol. I bought it because I wanted it. And honestly, that should be enough for you to justify whatever purchase or whatever pistol that you want. If you are just really dying for one of these, yeah, pick one up. If you really, really love this pistol, and I do, yeah, pick one up. If you enjoy it, that should be rationale enough. And if you're interested in one of these, do some research. Take a look at them. They're kind of interesting, kind of neat. If you can ever track one down in 9mm, that might be way easier to shoot. But the 7.62 Tokarev versions are cool too. But just know what you're getting into. I still think it's a cool gun. Anyway, so that's all I've got for that one.